In the following video, we will go over how to create a PO in Control. We will also go over how to view purchase orders in Control. Okay, let's go to Control. Before we get started in creating a new purchase order in the system, we need to first make sure that purchase orders is enabled in the system. To do so, we'll go to Setup, System Setup. Then we want to click on Purchase Orders, Bills, and Receiving Documents. In this case, Purchase Orders is already enabled. So let's go ahead and close System Setup, and let's get started creating our purchase order in the system. I want to click on New on the navigation bar, then click on New Purchase Order. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is tie a vendor to this PO. To do so, I want to first click on my search button. It's actually going to pull up my independent form of all the vendors that I have in the system. I can use my filter on the left hand side to filter for a certain particular vendor. In this case, I only have 2 vendors, so it's not that hard to search for. So I went ahead and double click my vendor. It added it to the PO. I want to add in a description. Now let's go to the items that will appear on this particular purchase order. For my item type, I have the ability to click on New Part, which means I can create a new part from here, put in all the details for that particular part, click Save on the part. It's going to save the part in the system and then tie it to this particular purchase order. If I select Catalog Item, this means that it's going to take all those parts that I buy from this particular vendor. If I click on Part, it's going to pull up all the parts that I have in the system, and then I can then pull one of the parts and then attach it to this particular purchase order. Expense will pull up all my expenses, all my expense accounts, and I can attach the actual account to the purchase order, as well as I can add in a note or any kind of other material, labor, equipment, parts in the system. Instead of doing that, you may have an order that you may want to send out materials or get materials for, and so you're going to contact your vendor. Instead of coming through the part and pulling all those parts individually, you can click on the Copy from Order/Estimate button, and this will open up a parts grid. At the top, I can click on my search button to find my my actual order that I'm working on. In this case, I want to exclude service tickets, and let me go ahead and double click my order. It's then going to give me all of the material parts that are on this particular order. I can uncheck the ones that I don't want and leave the ones checked that I do. In this case, I'm going to leave them all checked. And then I can hit OK at the bottom, and then those parts will then be added to my purchase order. I can come in and change in the number of quantity that I need. I can put in a unit cost. In this case, this particular part probably was set up without a unit cost. I can come in and tie a unit cost to the part. The payable to, shipping address, payment terms, and shipping methods all related to the vendor. In this case, we have a net 30 with this particular vendor. It shows their shipping address as well. It shows at the bottom as well as the purchase order total, and I can enter in the taxes that the vendor will let me know how much that tax amount would be. So let's go ahead and click save on the purchase order. And when I click save, the purchase order is then put into the requested status, which means that it's not necessarily approved, or it needs to be approved, or it can be rejected, so that that particular PO will not be used. Okay, let's go ahead and close the purchase order. Now, to view a already created purchase order in the system, we're going to click on Explore and then Explore Purchase Orders. And then now I can see all of my created purchase orders in the system. This will conclude the video.